bit slow on my side with the video, Todd, so we'll just see what happens with that too.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
The
okay, cool.
software will take care of it.
All right,
You'll experience whatever you experience, but it'll be good.
okay,
Yeah,
let's go.
yeah. Well, I just pushed live. Nobody's here yet. So yeah, we're just coming back to. Here, let me put your name up. Boom. Um, yeah. Let's wait for some people to get here.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about what you've been doing. We can talk about what I've
Um,
been doing, and but what? Okay, first of all, let me just say now people are coming in. What's up, Bruce? Bruce and I are going to get on here next day or two.
cool.
Um, so, like, I mean, well, let me just say this first. This is the second show. We did one show with Kirsty Lee, and now with you. Since I feel like we've come out on the other side, and I think that was around 11, 11, 11.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to get my bearings, if that's even possible. but
What a
uh,
flow at the moment, bro.
what's
Even
that?
I'm trying to find my bearings. Even I'm trying to find my bearings.
Right, right on. But yeah, so uh, so it's an honor to have you here on the second show on the other side. We might have to change it. Soul Speaks 5D on the other side. Um, yeah, it's an honor to have you here. I respect what you've been doing all these years because I mean I was telling Morgan we go way back, like
Yeah, we
2014,
do.
2015, like it was way back.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
and you shared in the Soulology group quite a bit back then. I think we did a live like in 2019. Probably did another one after
Yeah.
that. But yeah,
Been a
so
while.
you were saying that you've been through a lot lately,
Yeah,
and
I've
but you're feeling pretty good.
yeah. My this year for me personally has been thrown into a lot of chaos with family in regards to my ex-wife passing, and I've had to do a deal with a lot of 3D stuff in regards to my children and stuff, right? But I've come out on the other side as well at the same time. For me right now, I'm juggling both worlds. Okay, Todd, and it's a challenge, but I'm feeling the shift within myself as well at the same time. So the
Wow.
energies have been quite strong, and I think everybody is dealing with them differently at the same time.
Right, right. Yeah. So wow, you just said a whole lot though. I mean, like
Yeah,
you dealt with your ex transitioning. Um, you said something with your children, which I can relate to. That was a big part of last year for me.
yeah,
Um, and I think some other things that kind of like, in a way, to me, it felt like it was coming full circle in some way, like
yeah,
re
yeah. Full
retracing
circle.
steps.
Yeah, there's been a lot. Like I mean, even for me, the transitioning of creating stuff for myself as well, I've created a lot more financial abundance for myself as well this year. Within the first month
Yeah,
of this year, it's just like come in unexpectedly. I asked the universe for more finances to help me with things, and boom, just happened. Just appeared out of the blue.
yeah. And I think that's something that we've all had a hard time consistently doing, and
Absolutely.
maybe because we had to get into the right place, because you can put up a prayer and it's almost like begging, or you can put up a prayer and you're
Yeah.
commanding. But I feel like that's something that we can do um,
Yeah.
now more than ever, because I know I've done it a little bit. This month has
Yeah.
been like the first 8 9 days of this month were hellacious. I mean, it was just like holy shit, what's going on? Um, but with that, what you said earlier before we got on, you can see what's happening. You can see what's
Yeah.
happening. But I noticed during this time, since the first of the month, I threw up a couple of maybe three, four prayers, so to speak, and they were immediately answered. And energetically, I could see it. I didn't have to like try to convince myself. It was like, okay, I see this. The universe is reciprocating, and it's such a powerful connection. and reality. That it's you can see that it's will totally supersede anything out there. Any sacred
Yeah.
texts prophesizing Armageddon, any narrative, Anunnakis, Avalon. It doesn't even matter. We're all of that,
No.
and there's something
Yeah.
going on that um, you will not see out there, and I believe come through these conversations like this, whether they be two people in private or a small group or whatever.
See, and I agree with that, Todd. You asked me before what I've been doing as well. I want to share with all of this with the Conscious 5D and what we're moving into. The one big thing for me that has happened this year as well is I've connected with a beautiful sister over here, beautiful friend over here on the Sunshine Coast where I live. And her and I are working towards getting out into community, and we're working towards workshops and videos to assist people come to bring them back into balance, right, and to activate the codes within them that they have to balance out the divine masculine and the feminine within them.
Right.
Because I feel that's the other. As much as we can create, and we are creating a lot of beautiful stuff this year, I want to remind people too the importance that we have to remove those blockages within us too to get to that point, and what is the intention with what you're creating at the same time.
Yeah.
Because for me personally, it's about helping humanity as a whole, whilst not saving them, but sharing the wisdom of what we all know,
Yeah.
okay, and what
Yeah.
we're moving through to get to that point. And the thing is, but people got to remember, yes, we can create stuff. Absolutely, we're so fucking powerful, right? And I've already proven that myself time and time again. But people have got to remember that when you remove those energetic blockages, it'll be so much easier for you to create. Because, and I did a video on this a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I said to people, everything you want is already here. Everything you want is already here. All you have to do is remove the energetic blockages to bring it in.
Right.
And a lot of stuff will come in, and sometimes other stuff may not come in. And people will get all cranky. It's like, well, why isn't that happening? Well, maybe because you still have a limited belief system. But in the new world, as we're talking about 5D consciousness, right, as we move towards this year, it is about letting go of the past and moving into the present moment. And if the past visits you in the present moment, then that's okay too. Don't berate yourself for that.
Yeah.
This is where I've got to where I am this year right now. Is I removed a lot of blockages. I'm not saying haven't got shit to work through. We've all got shit to work through. Let's be honest. Let's get fucking real with that, hey? All right? But, all right, let's get real with
I
that,
don't
okay?
know.
We've all got,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, no. I get what you're saying. It is funny, but
yeah,
at some point, I think we have to own this,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
and it's interesting listening to you because you really kind of embody and exemplify what we've done, which is number
Absolutely.
one, face your personal stuff, and
Yeah.
number two, feel in deeper and deeper and deeper into this knowingness, this innateness of serving. And
Yes.
there's this place some people call it the Trinity, Golden Child, whatever, where if when we can find that groove, right? It's kind of like
Yeah.
me, like checking out after 11 years and you know trying to get back to work and you can't because everything's different. So it's kind of like serving others and serving self becomes the same thing. That's
Yeah.
kind of like our harmonic that we're bringing in or coming back to or aligning with, because I think we serve ourselves in both ways. We're no longer the wounded healer serving to avoid seeing ourselves. But I think the other thing too is that there is something, as much as we're comprised of everything, we comprise everything. And there's something
That's right.
bigger than us and that everything that is happening anyway. And I think a lot of this kind of soul searching stuff is kind of going to go to the wayside, and it's more of like, holy shit, this is how this works. Like
Yeah.
I can put up a purely intended prayer, and it be answered like you're talking about, like your
Yep.
abundance in January, and it's not even the end of the
Yeah,
month yet. Or
absolutely.
yeah, so yeah, very cool, very
It's
cool.
knowing what you want too, Todd,
Yeah,
and it's being firm in what you want or what you desire, right? And I think that's the other thing too. And a lot of people may be confused about what they want, but you have to be set in what you want, and then that'll come. Because if you're too willy nilly about it, then it's going to be like the universe is, because we are the universe. Is the universe wants to
you're gonna
hear.
get willy nilly.
You
But
can't
you
just
know
go
what,
willy nilly. Oh,
brother?
yeah, I think I want that, but
No, brother, but you're absolutely right. You're
yeah,
absolutely right. I just went through this like 2 or 3 days ago, and I shared with Morgan, and I'll keep that private, right? But I
yeah,
mean,
that's like
it was, yeah, yeah, but it was the specifics of my circle, but it was, um, kind of paralleling the whole thing, right? And
mm,
that was that point where you go, after all of this stuff, after everything we've all been through, what do you want? You know, this is a limited incarnation. It could be 800 years, it could be 8 years, it could be who
right.
knows what it could be. But in this moment, which is the only thing we have, the eternal moment, which is right now, that's it, nothing else. What do you
Yes,
want? Regardless of geography, regardless of anything, regardless of obstacles, apparent illusionary obstacles, what do you want to produce from your heart? Because you know that's where it all starts and stops. And so I really applaud you for that, because that's a really good point, because we've had a lot of stuff coming at us over the years, doing the self work and the shadow work, zero pointing, all this different stuff, participating, trying to serve. And it's come with a lot of doubts and second guessing. And I think, to your point, what do you want? Start with that. Why should, there's no lack. So whatever it is you want.
no lack at all, Todd. The universe is infinite in everything, and I'm realizing that.
Mm,
But from my where I sit from my own perspective too, and I just want to share this with everybody out there, and it may not be the same for everybody, and that's okay. And because I'm not judging it, it is what it is for me. But for me, I live a simplistic life, and everything I desire, for the most part, other than other bits and pieces, I already have in my
right.
life. So if there's extra stuff, then yeah, I know one I want the finances to be able to get a passport so I can travel overseas, because I want to visit my family over there, like you guys, like you and other friends I got overseas, right? And that's going to happen. I know that'll happen this year. There's other things I would like too, but for the most part, I'm quite happy living in my simplistic life. I don't need for much at all, or
Right.
want for much. But I think everybody's different in how they view that, and that's okay. It's not a judgment from my part. I just love living simply.
Right.
I've got everything I need. I got plants and I got freaking crystals and whatever else in the house, which is not much. I've got my art stuff that I do, my painting. I would love a new car
I'd
one day, but I mean,
like a car. I
but
don't even
and
care about that. No, I get what you're saying though, because I think it's not it is part of it is, I don't know. Okay, let me rephrase this. Is it more so that, to put it, in layman's terms, being okay with what you have, knowing you
yeah,
have everything
it
you need to
is.
have, versus going, hey, I can live like, like a monk or whatever the case is. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that. Because like in coming out of 2023, it was like this wild, not spiral, although everything's a
yeah,
spiral. It was this 3 years of closing out the old. And I think the old was closed out in 22, and then 23
yeah.
was kind of like when you run across the finish line, you're still running. You can't just stop. You know what I mean? And but now coming into this year, it feels like, what you said to me before the show started. You said,
Yeah.
regardless of everything that's happened, you can see it, you can feel what's happening. It
Yes.
doesn't matter what global event happens. It doesn't matter if there's another ET sighting. It doesn't matter anything, because there's something going on that's centered in us, and there's a bunch of us's that are acknowledging that to each other, and it's pretty powerful.
That's the whole thing, right? And I see what's unfolding here as much as you two, too, bro, and everyone else, the ones who are fully aware.
Yeah.
But I want to go back. If I could go back to the point you were
Yeah.
just saying before,
Yeah.
because I want to expand on that if you wouldn't mind. Thanks. When you said it's about being content with what you have, that is the most important point. I can't stress enough to people out there who are watching this today
Yeah.
is to be at peace and content with what you have, because when you are at peace and content with what you have, the universe will give you more.
Yeah.
When you show that gratitude towards what you have already, the universe will shower you with more. And then when you get more, you say, "Oh my God, thank you. I'm eternally grateful and I appreciate that." Then it gives you more. And then when you appreciate the crappy stuff too, the universe will give you more of the good stuff because you're showing gratitude for
Right.
what you experiences you're moving through. And that was the thing for me. And also, I want to say, maybe not everything will happen straight away. Yes, sometimes it will instantaneously happen like that, but sometimes it may take a little while too. Like I sit in the I want to share this with everybody out there. Okay, Todd, I sit in the place last year. I said, right, I can't do this on my own anymore. Universe, I want someone to help me, stand with me to do what I want to do, which is get out there and share the wisdom. And I want a woman, a sister or
I
a
want a
lady to
woman.
do. I
Give me a woman.
want a female to help me get there, right? To get me to where sharing knowledge, right?
I love it. I love it though. That's the
Yeah,
power of it, is the innocence of it.
yeah.
Like,
Well, two
yeah,
two are more powerful than one, Todd, right? And
yeah,
this is what I've realized too. And see, and I had to sit back. I had to let that go and surrender. Think, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing my live videos. I'm going to take time out for me when I need, and it'll unfold. And then this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lady came in. This I've known her for a couple of years, Johanna, and we've been talking about this since the end of last year. And now we're starting to work towards where we're headed towards helping other people this year with workshops and videos and other things that are just expanding out and showing other people the way. So that's another beautiful creation that I've created for this year, which is expanding out. And she's got her own things as well, like an eco village and other things. So now but you have to be content with what you have first.
yeah.
That's the key, right?
I
And
think,
and, and not
yeah.
whinge when it doesn't happen, right? Because
And not what? Not what?
not whinge or whine or complain when it
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh,
happen when you
whinge.
want.
Okay. Yeah. Morgan says that whinge. Um, yeah. And I think there's multiple keys. There's
Mm,
multiple keys,
yeah,
because we've moved past this kind of push button mentality.
yeah,
Take this course, earn this designation, channel this, remember that life. But I think it's kind of gotten to the point where there are some things that work, and we've heard them over the years. Kind of like go within, right? That's would be
yeah.
very general, but I mean gratitude. Let's start there.
Oh,
Uh,
that's huge.
yeah, the I would challenge anyone, and I can't say I do it every day, but I do it most every day, and it's changed my life. And this has gone on for over a year, and that
Yep.
is to wake up every morning and land. Once you get past whatever the hell you came out of, but actually before you step into the human experience and you come out of that etheric, right, the dimensional that you're just leaving, and just sitting there and saying, I'm grateful I've got a roof over my head. I'm grateful I've got food. I'm grateful I'm reunited with my mother. I'm grateful for Morgan Lee. I'm grateful for being around Sology. I'm grateful. And just, I know it sounds corny, but that's my point. There are certain things that we've heard over the years, but there was still a lot of resistance, both externally and internally, due to our
Yeah.
own doubts and due to our own, I don't want to say lack of maturity in a bad way, but at that point of our evolution, we weren't quite ready to really take that on, and I think we are now. So again,
I would hope that's the case, Todd, because, like you said, gratitude has got me to where I am today
yeah, yeah,
and what I have happening for me. Um, my experiences have virtually turned around because of my gratitude for everything.
yeah,
And that included all the crappy stuff that's happened to me over my life. Because everything that has happened to me on a deep, crappy level, a negative level, has grown me into where I am today. And this is where it starts. And I hope that a lot of people see that and they start practicing that, because that's what's going to shift them as well.
yeah,
Don't look at the crappy shit that's happening. Be grateful for the crappy
yeah,
stuff that's happening to you. Be grateful for the fact you do have a roof over your head, that you do have food on the table, and you do have money. Because you know what? And I want to share this with you. And comes from the absolute the bones of my heart here. Is like, everybody, please be aware. There are a lot of people out there doing a hell of a lot worse than what we are. There are people living on the street.
mm,
Yes, that's their choice on a soul level, but look at that concept, okay? There's a lot worse out than what we may be going through. This is why gratitude is so important for all of us to see this, because that's how we create too, is being grateful. And I
yeah.
love that you said that, Todd, because gratitude in the morning, from the moment you land your feet on the ground, is the greatest gift.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of talk about programming. Well, I say a lot of talk. I'm not trying to make light of it at all because it's all true. But like, different
Yeah.
descriptions and different modalities talk to your DNA, program your DNA. But in all this spirit scientific, because it's come out of the paradigm that we came out of, or whatever you want to call it, the band of frequencies, there was some complication in there that is no longer necessary or needs to be in there. And so some of these very simple things, such as making these declarations, will literally, however you want to identify it, change your DNA, raise your frequency, raise your vibration, your resonance, whatever. That's a powerful, powerful thing to start uh, a new day as a human
Yeah,
being. And because every
absolutely.
day literally is our awakening.
It is.
Because
Because,
it's changing that fast. The world ain't nothing like it was yesterday.
no, it's not. No. I can vouch for that. Even like the external world around me, where I live now, has changed because I've shifted my energy, because I've shifted me, right?
Yeah.
And I am constantly upgrading every day, every night. I go to sleep every day. I'm constantly changing and growing and expanding and opening up more, Todd. And this is the beauty. This is what I love about this. I can see it and feel the changes within me. Okay,
Yeah.
so, and just on a side note, it's been over 12 months since I actually stopped smoking as well now. So that has certainly improved my energetic
Good for
signature.
you.
And yeah, I know.
I'm glad somebody's doing it. No, that's one thing about this whole trip.
Hard.
At this point, the self judgment thing, like I've got no self judgment with myself now. I'm like, you know what? I'm on the boots on the ground. I'm going to do whatever the hell, you know,
Yeah,
because going back to what you said too before the show, that you can see it, you can feel it happening.
yeah,
I don't know about you because I haven't even posed this question to anyone. I just thought of it right now. But I know for a fact, and it was slow coming on all through last year, but really kicked in the last few weeks, which in my field, which I feel like is like centered in my physical body. Like my body is the biggest mouthpiece now. And it's made up of more than just the physical, like emotional, mental, and layers. I don't know all that stuff, but that I know the most important thing is the thought that I'm carrying, or you could say the multiple thoughts you're carrying of
yes,
self, of judgment, of this, and it's like this space. It's almost like a constant meditation, although that's not really accurate to me. It's more of and I don't even want to say conscious way of life. It's more of a consciousness that's permeating in that's familiar to us in some innate way that we're actually going, oh wait, I got to do this, I got to do that. No, 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 no. Just be still. Just be still. Oh. This is how we go down the river. It's just like, okay.
I, songs has been my biggest thing in the last 12 months, Todd,
Tell me about
and even
this.
leading into
You're
this
talking
year.
about Psalms.
No, silence,
Oh,
silence.
silence. Oh, that's
Yeah,
even
sitting
better.
in
Yeah. Oh my
silence,
God.
right?
Yes. Oh my God.
That has
Yes.
been my biggest gift last year, and especially leading into this year as well, because that's how. And the thoughts, oh my God, the thoughts can really, if you allow them to take you for a ride, you'll be, you can end up
Dude,
thinking, down,
by the same
God,
token,
hey,
that you bring that up, and the information is moving so fast.
oh yeah, very
Okay,
fast.
that if you or me or anyone else thinks they can actually pinpoint it and talk about it, there's very few people that I know that I can
Yeah.
say, and I don't keep track of everybody, but it's moving that fast. It's moving that quickly. And what were you just talking about? I forgot.
The
That's part of
thoughts,
this.
right?
That's
Our
huh?
thoughts, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say the flip side of that, and this is how it works. It was a
yeah,
synchronicity that I had yesterday, and you brought this up, and it clicked. Okay, and that was, I guess, I'll try to put it in universal terms. I was being shown what you're talking about, which we've all been shown. We know this, but we're still trying to get away from this. But I was shown the
yeah.
other side of it, and that this was last night. Literally, create from here. Create from here, unobstructed. Use the other side of that truth, and create what you want without obstacle or impediment. Nothing. Just you want to be with her, be with her. Okay. What does it look
That's right.
like? What does the house look like? What does the beach look like? I mean, not like vision posters and all that,
No,
vision boards. I'm talking about real, pure, intentional, unconditional, heart, love based creation force, life force energy being put into the field from a
that's
from
what
a
it's
an
about.
awareness that actually will make a difference. And I believe there's many of us doing it. You're a living example.
Well, see, and that's the thing, and this is where we've got to get to that point, is coming from a pure heart. And I love that you say that, Todd, because when I can honestly say to the people out there today who are watching and anyone else, is like, I love you guys unconditionally. Yes, there are days where I have moments, and that, we all do. But for the most part, I'm creating a pure intent of what I'm creating right now, because my pure intention is for me to serve myself and humanity.
Yeah.
That's the key, because when you have that vision, nothing will stop you unless your thoughts get in the way of your programming and the conditioning. And when you release that and say, you know what, I hear you, ego. You're full of shit,
No,
but I hear you.
the
I
ego's
love you, ego.
universal. It's a universal
Hey,
equalizer. It's the
yeah,
one. It's the
that's
one
right.
that gives
It is.
us. It's the one that opens the doors and gives us the information to do exactly what you're
Yes,
talking about and exactly what's happening. And
that's right, Todd.
yeah, I mean it's true. I mean this is what's happening. We're actually
I'm
going. Hey, we are. And I know it sounds crazy, or used to, because I. Okay, so look to your point. Nothing is guaranteed. Like that's the
no,
way the universe works. There's always this
yeah,
10%. That's what the universe is always telling me. There's always 10% that's unknown. But you know
yeah,
what? We're what you're saying is, or what you're exemplifying is, I'm doing this, or I'm gonna die trying. Like
yeah.
death is even real, right? Like what, where we stop is where we pick up. So it's not like, but there is something important about this lifetime. There's
Absolutely.
something there's something that's in our fucking bones that tells us, you know what? We came here at this time for a reason. And I think more than anything, beyond missions and purposes and all that, not to take anything away from it because it's very much a part of
No,
me, is literally to be a witness and be a part of it. It's that extraordinary.
isn't that the whole gift of it? Really, isn't it, Todd, to sit back and watch it unfold too?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's I I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I've had enough. I'm not coming back. I've had enough of this life. I'm like, seriously, I don't want to be here anymore." It's like, oh my god, guys, can you see how freaking amazing this journey is, this lifetime, to be here in such the most powerful time for whole of humanity? I mean, God, there are many times I wanted to freaking just pack up and go home too. It's like I've had enough, but I keep coming back and I keep saying, no, there's more, and there's more, and I know, and I see it. I can see the vision. I hold the vision of what I can see the new world to be, and how we can all embrace each other and all of that, But it's a challenge for everyone to get there, and that's okay, because I want people to realize that don't get yourself down if you have a down day. We're moving towards closer and closer. Every step gets us closer to where we're going, and that's the beautiful thing. And the other thing I just want to share this with you, Todd. You may agree or you may not, and that's okay. But I just want to share one of the things I've learned also is that when things aren't working for me, I step back and I say, what do I need to let go of, or what do I need to adjust, or what do I need to surrender to get me to where I'm going? So I think it's important for people not to, and this is the other thing too. I want to remind people too is like the biggest thing we're letting go of. One of the biggest things we're letting go of this year as well is the control over our external circumstances. Right? We can't control the external world. We can't control the universe. So we must remind ourselves also that if something's not working and we keep butting up against a brick wall, what is the universe telling us? Are we being told by our higher self to take a different direction too?
Right.
Yes, it's wonderful in regards to where we're headed. Yes, in regards to serving creation and serving humanity and ourselves. Yes, absolutely. But I want people to understand that if you're pushing up against wall and a brick wall and nothing is happening, where do you need to surrender and take a different direction? Where do you need to sit back in silence and take a different path? This
Yeah.
is the important thing, because otherwise we're trying to control outcomes. We're trying to control circumstances that maybe our higher self is saying, "Hang on a minute, John, where the hell are you going? I'm trying to bring you over here, and you're still
I
there."
think they're speaking a lot clearer and faster than that.
Yeah,
But
right. So yeah,
yeah,
it takes a
yeah.
bit to pick up that though as well.
Well, I feel that, and I love these conversations. I'm glad to be back. I'm totally glad to be back.
Thanks, Bob, for having me on. I
Chantel
love
Renee,
it,
what's
bro.
happening? We have to get her back on here. It's my second show on the other side since 11/11/11. Um, yeah, some of us go way back, don't we?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but okay, so okay, what were you talking about? You have to tell me
We're
again.
talking about surrendering to the flow of the universe, Todd, and not forcing things, not trying to control
Oh, yeah,
external
yeah, yeah.
force.
You
Want to
said,
direct
okay,
us
yeah,
in
yeah.
a different
So this is
direction.
the real stuff, man. We think the code's coming in from the Arcturians, and God bless you for being here with us and facilitating with us. But we're down here doing the work, by the way, homeboys. All right.
Oh
So
yeah,
the real code comes from this experience, and it comes in real time when you can talk about it in real time. So you
yeah.
have, um, okay, you got to remind me again. I got to go back to it. Oh, go.
Surrendering,
Yeah,
surrendering.
yeah. Okay, surrendering. All right. Hang on, surrendering. Oh God, I had it. I had it. It was good too. What were you talking about right before that? Right before that.
Our thoughts, how our thoughts try to overtake us and
Yeah, we talked
direct us.
about that. Yeah, yeah, we talked about
Yeah,
that. It'll come back to me. But yeah,
that's all right.
it was this whole thing, and it's not surrendering. It's beyond surrendering. It's like throwing your hands up in the air and saying, you know what, I will not give up, but I
Yeah,
surrender. I surrender.
yeah,
Like
yes, I love that. Yes,
it's like this. People talk about blind faith. The universe
yeah,
always told me since I reawoke in 2011 that we'll give you 90%. The other 10% you gotta figure out. Nobody gets that. I figured out
yeah,
now that's the holy womb. That's the holy darkness. That's the mother goddess's womb. That's where we
yeah,
step into together, two brothers, me and Morgan, a group, whatever. We step into this darkness and go, okay, this is where we left off. So what you said was that what is it that's keeping me from getting to this point that I want to be at? Right?
Yeah, that's
Kind
right.
of what you're saying.
Yeah,
And immediately when you said that, it all kind of locked in together, past, present, future. It was talking about like when you can let go of what the outcome will be and how you get there. Right?
that's the whole thing,
That's.
Todd.
But
You
I'm just
have to
saying.
let
Now, to me, this is very new. It's not something like
go.
maybe
Okay.
you've not heard before in like Far Eastern philosophy or something like that, or whatever the case is. But to me,
Mm.
this is like real time intel. It's like, you know what? That's stepping into that void. That's stepping into that place. And what happens when you step in that place? You go into that void, it's dark, and you're like, oh my God. Back to what you said, the flip side of it, imagining what you want. And you said in human terms, which I think the best code comes in, what do
Yeah.
you want? What
Yeah.
do you want? Period. End of discussion. What do you want? That's where it starts right there because that's what's going to happen.
That's right.
Now that we've
That,
reached this point, and I'm going to say the word mastery
yeah, self
in the
mastery.
sense
Self
in
mastery.
the sense that it's not like only for ascended masters, but mastery to a certain level.
Yeah.
Okay, like we're all playing this multiplicity of a video game. We're up at level 111, and we can all say, "Hey, man, we're here. We got this part of it." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And and it's like we don't know what happens when we go higher.
No,
We
we
don't
don't.
know, but we know that we can't get any further unless we try something new.
That's
See,
the thing.
you know what I mean? So I'm older than you. Played video games when I was a teenager. They had video arcades, and that's the whole thing.
I wouldn't say
You
you're
would
much
go.
older than me,
Damn, much
Todd.
older. Did you say I'm much older than you,
No, I
mother?
said I wouldn't say
but
you're much older than me at all.
but you go through those levels and you try things that worked in the lower levels and they no longer
Yeah.
work and new things come out. So what happens? You get to a point where you're like, okay, I've tried everything. It's got to be something different. I got to find it. And that's where these, what I referred to as multiple keys that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And sitting that void, like you were saying before, too, because um, I sat there numerous times in the last 12 months, especially in 2023. And like, it was so holy crap. It was like last year was so fucking powerful, especially the beginning of last year. And I just want to skip back briefly, just to give you guys a bit of an overview, right? It's like, and over a period of a couple of weeks, it's like I'm getting all this downloads and this information from my higher self and source, and it's like, and I'm thinking, holy fuck, this is insane. So instantly, I'm just dropping old beliefs and old patterns and old conditionings away like freaking crazy. And everything you're saying, Todd, is what resonates with me. Is sitting in that void and not and trusting the process, having blind faith, like you said, because that's what it's about. It's about blind fucking faith, and the universe.
Well, I don't know.
What
Is
you
it
want?
blind faith? Is it blind faith, or is it my three are love, faith, trust? To me, they're all the same thing.
Yeah,
That's a living
trust.
trinity. But like it's
Yeah,
like to me, it's like blind faith, as in if I jump into this unknown, into this void,
yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen on the other side. I
No,
could
you
have been
don't.
fooling myself the whole time. I could have been in a petri dish on a seventh grader's personal science lab, in his house, just a little drop, and I
Yep.
didn't know shit. But I believe you said it earlier. I'm going to move. You said it in your own way about how you're moving forward in 2024. I'm going to
Yep.
move forward what feels resonant within my field. I'm just using my own words. What feels resonant in my own field, and I've observed and experienced and cataloged and whatever all the stuff that's available to this point, but nothing else new can come unless I walk through that. And to me, you know that's that is faith. Faith is
Yep.
an action. Faith is saying,
Yep.
you know what, hold my hand, brother. Let's walk through this together. And if we're both worm dirt when it's all over, then so we won't even know. But we're not. We're not. I don't
Oh,
know. I don't know. To me, there's a humanity that's coming through, and I wanted to talk to you about the masculine specifically because
go on.
when I met you, I would say it was probably 2014 or at the latest 2015. Like
Yeah,
so Sology Group and Facebook had been around for at least 2 to 3 years. And there was
yeah,
so I remember those days when there was 8,000 people and I remember who was coming out and there was not very many men, number 1, and there was not very many people doing lives, okay?
no,
And so I know your masculinity from what I've observed, as we all can do when we pick up energy at a greater and greater level every day,
absolutely. Yeah,
Um, but so getting back to where whatever the hell's happened here in January 2024, praise the Mother Goddess and Father God. Um, it feels like humanity, my humanity, your humanity, which I'm seeing in you
yeah,
and
it
others, right?
is.
Yeah, go ahead. It feels like it's coming online in a way
Yeah, it is.
that kind of puts it on the same level as our Arcturian aspect, as our elemental aspect, etc., etc., etc. Like, and not only that, but it's on point. And I feel like that has occurred. Like about 10 days ago, I had the download doing my walks, and it was the masculine had landed, but like way beyond what we used to say, at the same time that she has. So, in other words, it doesn't matter who came first and who did this. We are now on this plane of existence where both of those sides of us are fully in awareness. And for
That's
some reason, for me, it's kind of like um, pointed me in a direction of where do you want to serve? What do you want to bring out? Because I guess I'm kind of a producer type. Like what frequencies do we want? What messages do we want to get out?
yeah.
Is the humanity, like
See,
you said earlier, get me out of here, all that stuff. But there's something, there's no greater goal than in the humanity that we are presently experiencing.
that's the
And
whole
and
thing.
and and the great thing about code is, and
Yeah,
this isn't me talking, the great thing about code is it is its most powerful the moment in the moment that it's being experienced versus someone teaching you something down the road. Life or knowledge is in the experience itself. We've all been told things many, many times, but until we experience it, we don't get it. So it's
no,
something like that.
no. And that's the thing. We have to experience that first before we can actually get the wisdom out of it as well. Because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for everything I've gone through.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
and that's the important thing for everybody to remember. That is that everything that we've been through, all of our experiences, good, bad, and indifferent, have brought us to this point today. Okay, now you and I go, like you said, Todd, we go way back. You and I till 2014, and I know I've been watching you since then. Okay, so but everything I've gone through with my experiences has brought me to this point. And I could have just buried myself and decided, well, you know what, I think it's all wackadoo. I don't want to fucking know anything about this shit. But
Wackadoo.
yeah, that's an
I
Aussie
love it.
saying. But
I love it. I love it.
but I could have thought, it's all freaking crazy shit. I don't know what you're talking about. But I chose to explore further with that. And I chose to better myself and see that. And then in 2015, from there, it all changed again, right? With the other relationship that I was in, okay, and I'm not going to go into that out of respect for that, okay, right? But then that's
Exactly.
all changed as well because I mean, I'm a twin yourself, Todd. You know I'm a twin. I'm a twin flame, right? However you want to, doesn't matter how you want to look at it, okay. But so, and I've grown exponentially over that time, and even the last 4.5 years has brought me even closer to to the balance. And I think this is what we've got to do is, and you said about the bringing of the two together within us. That's what's happening for me. I'm bringing myself into balance, into that neutral zone of the masculine and the feminine. And the more that I bring myself closer to that, is the more that I embody the oneness within myself, the Trinity, the whole Trinity of what you were talking about before as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so and this is what we're all headed towards this year. And most of us, or some of us, if not all, who knows? I don't know. I don't have numbers. I don't have figures. It's a variation because nothing's set in fucking stone. That's
That's
the one.
right. That's the whole point.
Yeah, nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in
That's the whole
stone.
point. That's the whole point, though. That's the whole point. Going back to what you
Yeah,
said, because there's so many different types of streams of knowing or knowledge that's coming in that wipes out the old thing, and it's happening so fast that
mm,
it's hard to communicate. But to your what you were saying, okay, like the things that we say, which are rooted in the thoughts that we have, which are rooted in the conditioning that we've been subjected to by our own perfect design, you
yeah,
know, uh, we're becoming aware. It
yes,
goes there, it goes there. So if it goes from your thoughts to your conditioning, then you go, okay, wait, I'm not going to be conditioned. I'm open to this. I'm aware of this now. It comes back to your thoughts. There's that
yep,
silence. There's that silence. And now we're going to go experience life. And it looks similar to what we had before, except for, like you said earlier, there's two running at the same time.
absolutely,
And you're going, wow, this is fucking weird. And the universe is coming in going, hey, this is how you write the code. This is why you came. When you agreed to come, and as we do in these incarnations, the code, well, first of all, the soul expansion is realized in the spontaneous, intuitive, creative, imaginative, courageous in the moment. And everybody benefits from that. But the code itself is being transmitted because you can bet that it is. All of our codes being transmitted, okay, to our higher
absolutely,
aspects, whatever
yes,
you want to call it, to Mother Goddess, whatever you want to call it. But
yes,
but
yes,
so there's a double, kind of a double plus there that doesn't make sense by human linear mathematical equations or you know theories, whatever. But the bottom line is we're on the right track,
we
and
are.
and I think it would behoove us to keep things as simple as possible and go back to these cliches that got worn out and annotations or I'm sorry, connotations and labels that got muddied and not forgetting, just like our lives, just like our experience, that it wasn't shit. It was actually stepping into that darkness together. We didn't know what was going to happen. We can talk about the different narratives, but the bottom line is we're awake now. What do you
Yeah,
want to do with this? And I love how you started this whole thing when you said, let me just say this. I didn't. You were saying I don't want to interrupt you, but let me just say this. What people asking themselves, what do you want? And that is so powerful because it doesn't just apply to, oh, I see myself here and I want to be on a beach and I want to be doing this. No, it's right here, right now. Because if we can align to what we would like to do right now, in the space of what's available to us now, in the space of what we've created individually and together in this now, it's not about what we're talking about. It's not about what we're doing. It's not about how many views or this or that, or even if there's anybody watching. It could be me and you on Facebook Messenger. It's about the like a tuning fork. It's about the frequency. It's about what we are providing as a conduit because it's not us.
that's that's right, Todd. And we are conduits for everything, right? And
Yeah.
we all have the codes, and we share those codes. Exactly what you're saying. And stepping into the darkness for a lot of people, it can be fucking scary
Yeah.
because people it's the fear of holy crap. What am I going to fucking find there when I go into the shit? Oh no, no, I don't want to go
Whatever you
there.
want.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you want, but that's the gift
Yeah. Well, I
of
mean,
walking into that dark. It's like, yeah, okay, the
how
ego will get
how are
scary.
you gonna grow if you can constantly being presented with the same thing over and over, or things that
That's
you've experienced
ah,
before
yeah,
in varying degrees or whatever the case is? I mean,
yes,
how are you going to do that? Um, and I think that part of from what I can tell, and this again is my opinion, but being involved in the role that I've been in, and kind of like being plugged into the Lightworker communities and
yeah,
Starseed and Disclosure and Conspiracy and watching many platforms, there's almost a dogma that has been created that carries the same, uh, I'll say, dualistic polarity
yeah,
arrangement of where we're coming from. In other words, right, wrong, superiority, inferiority. When the bottom line is this, we're actually coming into a space that we're all going to be on an even playing field. Every
that's right.
single person, no matter who you think or how asleep you think they are, and because the physical is the vehicle, our universe, you, me, the you, me, we, and it, is going to make it as physically impactful as it needs to in order for us to get the message. All right. So
Absolutely.
if
Yep.
putting us all on an even playing field means the grid goes out and our world changes like no way any of us could ever believed overnight. Now let's see, without the post, without the lives, without the whatever, without the personas, without the mask, without, who are we? Are we prepared to suffer through that? Are we prepared to say, you know what? I believe in an eternal soul. I'm gonna call my homeboy up through telepathy, you know, in Australia, and call this other person up in Europe, and we're gonna form a pyramid right now. And we're gonna just and create
Love
our
it.
way out, right?
I
I
love it.
mean,
Absolutely, yes.
seriously, I
This is,
mean it. I know I sound
yeah.
crazy, but
No, I know you do, and this is the thing. Is this is how it works. See, because when you have that blind faith and that trust and everything else you're talking about, when all of that stuff happens, are you going to work towards getting out of it by bringing everyone together? Or are you just going to sit in the fucking corner and cower like a bloody scared little child? Or you're going to step up and say, you know what? Let's get the freaking brothers and sisters again. Let's get our shit together and get out of this.
that's right.
That's what it's about. It's about unity. It's about cooperation.
So
And we all freaking one.
okay, let's just go through a little exercise.
Yep.
Imagine being a child, 7 years old in Gaza. This is not a political
Yep.
transmission, by the
I
way, and I
understand
don't
that. Yep.
represent anything but the universe, all right?
Mm.
Imagine you're that. Imagine you're one of the 1 in 8 children on this earth who eat on less than 7 cents a day. Imagine you're the Queen of Elizabeth or whatever the hell her name was, and I'm a reptilian
Yeah.
and I was, whatever, I have esoteric knowledge. Whatever. Imagine anything and everything.
Yeah.
Because the only, at least in terms of this realm, and I'm not even saying a person can get there, I'm not saying anything like that. What I am saying is this: I want my experience to be as open as possible, which means that I will have to put myself in everyone's shoes, including Hitler. Okay, every single one of them,
Yeah.
every single one of them, because there is a human lineage, which is a typically a multiple incarnation kind of deal, and there's a soul lineage, and you know what we do on a local level, and applauding you and your friend. Um, that you prayed for that came. but
Oh, no.
but the more that we truly embody at the physicality and walk the talk and put our energetic money where our mouth is, the more impactful, the more energetic um, repercussions in a positive way that it will have on this grid. It will totally supersede all this bullshit, which is really nothing.
It really is nothing, Todd. And it is putting your mouth where walking the talk, as you said, and keep walking forward
Yeah.
and keep creating those people that come in and who will support you on that mission of whatever it is you are choosing to do to support humanity. You and I know, you know the vision I hold, Todd, is the same as yours of a
Yeah, of
world
course.
of where we can all come together and share and create beautiful things together with clean food, clean water, all of this.
Clean
Okay,
thoughts.
and yeah,
Clean thoughts.
right?
No bullshit.
You know,
I
yeah,
wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you, and I totally
yeah,
forgot. We went off on a 30-minute tangent. Uh,
that's okay.
no, everyone knows I've been with Morgan for 8 years,
Yeah,
and Morgan is has her certain propensities, and I do too, in terms of what we bring in or how we share, or whatever the case is. And so
yeah,
much of hers, well, there's not, it's not much of hers, but part of hers is the masculine and the feminine. And
yes,
uh, and so sometimes I would be like, man, you know what? We're all soul. Just, but I wanted to ask you about this because I've seen, and I prefaced it earlier, 30 minutes ago, when I thought I was going to talk about it.
yeah,
I've seen you step out as it's hard to use words, but like a new masculine or a masculine that's less seen. And going again back to 2014, 2015, 2016. Um, so I've had my, I've always known, like, on the masculine side, I'm out there pushing it, right? But it never really hit home until about December. And
yeah,
I started to go through, and there was connectivity to the previous year at the same time, and the previous year at the same time. I just didn't get it until this,
yeah,
let's just say, December started. Uh, Really, really deep stuff. And I'm not talking so much about the human implications of suffering and pain and trauma. I'm talking about un, un, uncovering, recovering, discovering, maybe. Um, this divine masculinity, while I'm in a male body on this earth at this time, that's something
yeah,
that I had no I had no idea. Like, and because I know I had no idea, not that I'm saying anything about myself, but I know
yeah.
nobody else does too. And that's come from my intel that, you know what? You got no you have no idea how this masculine energy is going to come in and shut the fucking door and go boom, we're on. So I wanted to ask you, because I've gone through some, let's just say, energetic gyrations.
Yeah.
And it felt very masculine on a personal level, but also
Yeah.
felt like it carried a tremendous amount of substance and collaboration on a collective level. Can
Yeah.
you speak to that?
Jeez, Todd. um,
Take your time.
wow.
Well, you've inspired me, man.
I think, look, everybody has a different perspective of how they view it. Okay. And I think the thing is, from my point, and I want to go back, first thing I want to say to people is, okay, so there's no right or wrong with my own experience of how I've gone through this, okay, for myself with the divine masculine, right?
Hmm.
And I think everybody on the soul level is called to do whatever they need to do. Now, I have pull back a little bit myself personally because I know that there is other things that I'm being called to do on other levels.
What do
Okay,
you, if you don't mind me
I'm,
interrupting, what do you mean you pulled back? In what way?
I
I'm just
pull
trying
back
to.
a little bit from social media, just a little
Oh,
bit. I'm
okay,
not doing
okay.
it.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Hell yeah. Hell, I've
yeah,
disappeared.
but that's not doesn't mean it doesn't mean that I'm not active.
Right, right.
I'm working towards other things. It's just that I'm putting myself more into the community with what I'm doing with this treasured friend, this beautiful heart angel she is, Johanna, and we're working towards that as well. But the other thing is I'm finding the balance. Like I'm not. I think for me, Todd, I'm not pushing as hard. I don't feel the need to push as hard because even from my perspective as a divine masculine, when I shift energetically, that is an energetic ripple across the entire bloody planet. Okay, and that shifts anyway.
Dude,
That shifts.
let's capture that because it's important. I think I get what you're saying. You're
Yeah,
saying that as how do we say this? As someone or a soul incarnated that has been predominantly masculine in its, in its machinations, in its motions,
yeah,
you've noticed or you've experienced something different, which
yeah.
is we were always pushing, creating. What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? I got to go to work. I got to go to work, you know, to something else where there's not this force of force, and
No,
it's
it's right.
more of like, hey, uh, this, like, it's totally different. Like, I'm gonna do things differently. It's
That's how I feel. Todd.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I can feel the same thing, and that's why, I was supposed to come back on January the 8th and get everything going with the network again after a 30-day, first time in 11 years,
Yeah,
sabbatical. But I couldn't do it. The universe wouldn't let me do it. And now, over the last couple of days, 3, 4 days, it's starting to come back on, but it's very slow. There's no force. No, like, hey, we're going to do 3 shows a day starting tomorrow. It's not like that. It's just like a little
that's
piece
the
here, a
thing,
little
Todd.
piece there. Yeah.
Yes, one of the things that we've been majority of us, and I'm not saying everybody because everybody's going to be different on this journey. But for me personally, I've been called to step back.
Okay.
My higher self has called me to step back. Okay, this is why I'm not doing as much on social media, and plus I'm moving through other things in my own personal life as well. But I've also been called to step back and focus on other things that I'm doing with Johanna.
Okay.
Okay, and whatever else comes into play. So like it doesn't mean that I my divine masculine is there, but it's more on a different level to what
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
should be. And
Yeah.
I'm not here to force anything, and I'm not going to force anything because I
Right.
don't want
Right.
to force anything. I'm following my guidance of my higher self and the universe and source. Whatever they want me to do, man, I'm there.
But
That's it.
from
They
but
say
from
pull
the
back.
from the masculine incarnated in a male body at this
Yeah,
time, it's a totally different way
yeah,
than
it
what we're
is. Totally.
right than what we were used to. And
Yes.
I told Morgan this, I think yesterday,
Yeah.
because right around 11,
Yeah.
the grandmothers came in when we were doing sessions together,
Yeah.
and I've dealt with them for many years. And I told this story, so I'm gonna go through it real quick. She was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I when it happened the first time, she was like, wow, I know who these people are, but I don't know who they are." And I'm like, "Oh, they're the grandmothers, right?" So I was telling her that when I reawoke in 2011, 2012,
Yeah.
the Godfathers is what I called them at the time. Father
Yeah.
God, the Godfathers were very prevalent, and many masculine divine entities like Archangel Michael, okay, etc.
Yes.
I hadn't seen them for not often, not like the feminine, not like the Mother Goddess,
Yeah.
until about every now and then, whatever. But until like maybe 3 weeks ago, and the
Yeah.
way that and it's my own metaphoric reception of, or my own presentation from the universe speaking to me metaphorically. We all get the
Yeah.
same thing. It just looks different. But what I was telling her was, holy shit! Like first of all, they won't let me call them the Godfathers anymore. They're the fathers. They're not the
Yeah.
grandfathers. They're the fathers, right? And they're not saying a lot. They're just coming in, and it's like you look at them, and nothing needs to be said. Like, protector, true protector, not wounded archetype. I'm talking like core universal archetypes, for lack of a better description, but like
Yeah.
quite powerful, uh, profound, powerful. Uh, Few words. When words are spoken, much is said. Like 8 words is like an encyclopedia thing, right?
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's what you're kind of like embodying and explaining, is that it's a totally different thing. You're not super soft, but your sensitivities can align with any level of softness and compassion, right?
Absolutely, Todd. Yeah.
And
And
yet
that's where I'm
you're
at
still
right
the
now.
creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
that's what you're exemplifying, and that's what you're talking about. And I'll end it here, but what stands out for me in what you're creating in your own life, which is a microscopic of the whole thing, is you have first of all, you have put up, and that's feminine, put up the dream. I need a partner to come in with me to help me do this. She
Yep.
appears, you start doing it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, it's almost like well, I guess that is embodiment, right? You're used to doing, doing, doing. Is that the difference of what we were talking about, or what we were before versus now as men,
Yeah.
to where now you actually ignite the dream,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
because you're feminine
This
is
has not been this has not been an easy journey for me, Todd, in the last 12 months getting to this point as well. Okay, I just want to say that to everyone out there. This has not been an easy gig for any of us, or even from my perspective,
mm,
where I've come from. You've watched me even over the last 4 years,
mm,
right? And for me to get to this point of saying, you know what, and I said it, I'll say it again, like I said last year. I said I've had enough, universe. I want a divine feminine to come in to support me with where I want to go, where I want to head, how I want to help people and support people. And now, like I said, and we've been in communication since last year talking about this, Johan and I. So it has
right,
been a process of leading up to this
right,
point.
right,
Okay, so this is something that was already being created and
yeah,
building that foundation. And this is the year where we're going to start really taking off. Now, we both said too is that number one, we both will remain independent, but also support each other in where we're at with what we want to do. So this is two beautiful friends coming together, right? Doing this because this is what the universe has given me, and I'm going to run with that, Todd,
yeah,
because
hell
she,
yeah,
I'm going to support her, and she's going to support me,
hell
right?
yeah,
And that's where it's at, and I love that because that's I want to do more with that. So, but
you,
this is where you've got to get to that point of everything we've talked about today in this video, right? Everything we've said about being in the void and the
right,
blockages and all of this stuff, okay, is all prevalent for this year,
yeah,
right? Because that's where you're going to get to, no matter what it is that you're saying. And I am look, I'm divine feminine this lifetime in a freaking male body, okay, but I have brought in the divine masculine,
I
and that's
know,
where I've
I
met.
know. That's why I find your intel, your insight so amazing, because I know that about you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I know
That
that
means a
about
lot.
you, and I can relate to that in a way. I'm pretty much the same, actually, but I got what's that old thing? Something happened on the way to the carnival, But yeah, we got conditioned, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, that was so much. I wish I hadn't even interrupted you, but yeah,
No, 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 no.
that.
That's okay.
But
To
see,
look and
that's the
everything.
real. But that's the real.
Yeah.
That's the real. What do they got going on right now with the whole? And I don't pay attention to it, but like the whole gender, whatever the fuck's going on with all that.
Oh, transgender.
The ambiguity with ginger, like
I,
gender. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
so like, but the real message there, because everything is symbolic. Everything's
yes,
coming up to be seen. It's
yeah,
never at
absolutely.
face value, but it's being
No,
able to look at, let's just say you got two men, right? You got one man who comes from one end of the polarity, you got another one that comes from the other end of the polarity. And if you
yeah,
just look at that and see that a place has arrived where they're both seeing each other in themselves, this kind of
yeah,
describes the period that we're in now. And what I'm saying is this: in the last 2 to 3 months, I would say 2 months, 1 month even, has something has occurred. This
yeah.
is my opinion. The masculine consciousness, the masculine awareness has met the feminine awareness. Doesn't matter who came first. It doesn't even apply. But we're on
No,
the same plane at the
relevant.
same time.
Yeah,
And that's speaking to us inside and the potential of us
yes,
outside. See, so
absolutely.
so when you talk about Johanna, have you ever, by the way, heard Bob Dylan "Visions of Johanna"?
No, I haven't
I'll,
actually,
I'll
Todd.
send it to you. It's an
Yes,
amazing
that'd be
song. It's
great. Thank
amazing.
you.
I'll
Yeah,
send it to you. But when you talk about that, so and rightfully so. In the past, we might say, okay, I could say it with my relationship with Morgan. Oh, I had
yeah,
these dimensional experiences, and we were this in our past lives, tens of thousand times, and all this stuff. But when you land in a spot that I just described, which I believe we're in, and you have
yeah,
those two representations where there's no stereotypical kind of perception applied. You're a man I'm just going to kind of run with this. You're a
yeah.
man
Go on.
being respected for your masculinity and your femininity by this
Yes.
beautiful woman, Johanna, and you're seeing the same in her.
Yeah, I
And
am.
now you're coming together going, okay, let's do this. But nothing is set in stone in the sense that this is how you do it. It's through
No.
these conversations where you say, we're going to do some things together, right? I'm going to
Yeah,
have my own thing here. You're going to have your own thing here. It's like a working process. And I think more than
definitely.
anything, that is the Trinity energy. The Trinity energy is no, you're not going to be there. You're not going to be in heaven. You're not going to be in nirvana. You're going to be heading that way. And you're actually building the road through these choices where you make, especially where two more together. Because how are you going to
Yep.
have unity consciousness with 10 people or 20 people if you don't have it with two? It ain't going to happen.
It's the whole thing, Todd.
Hmm.
It's the whole thing. And I can say to you clearly too that what I've experienced with Johan is been truly magical because we both are on the same page. We both have the same frequency, and we're both walking towards
Right.
the same common goal while still being individual and independent to ourselves at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But so and this is the whole thing. This is where I'm seeing it from that perspective as well, from what you said. It's true. But the thing is, there's unconditional love there between both of us as we work towards this as well. Okay, sure, there may be nuts and bolts we need to work out in between that, and that's okay. No, everything is a work in progress. Nothing is set in stone. It's all
But it doesn't hurt
just
like it used to.
no. It doesn't hurt like it used to.
Everything's
It's
getting
right.
lighter. Let me ask you this, because I think a lot of people haven't, and I can't even say I have or you have, to be honest with you. Again, the answer is in the moment, in the exploration of the moment, right? I mean, this is it.
Yes,
Versus,
absolutely.
okay, we did this, now that's true now. But in terms of like your own experience with Johanna,
Yeah.
I don't know how to pose this question, but like, is is there any explanation needed as to the coherence of the connection? Or I'm talking about in your own experience. If you don't want to go too deep, I get that. But like, is it just something that you know that you don't have to talk about? Because I find that when I go on, and I can't go on social media much anymore, but when I go on, it's very
Is right.
loud to me. It's very loud to me, either directly or indirectly under the surface.
Yeah.
The expressions being, "Hey, this is who I am. This is what I can do. This is what's in my life. This is how I know." But it feels to me like there's something going on in it, and I feel it from you, um, where two or more people just know. They know. Like we don't have to go into these explanations and reviews and
I,
like you
I
just
can't. I no. Yeah, and that's exactly what you're saying. Exactly how I would describe that route now,
mm,
Todd. Is I just know. It's
yeah.
just a knowing.
Mm.
That's the best way I could explain it to you. It's just a knowing on a soul level. That's it.
And
I'm
does
so
that
tapped.
and does that okay, so that which you feel with her and she feels with you,
Yeah.
does that is that or does that is that translating to your overall experience in general? Like everything, it's like this knowing's just setting in this, like even things that you would like go out of your way to get into that are not good for you, it's not going to work out. You know what I mean?
I just know, Todd, how it is. The experience I'm going through with this with your heart is it's a knowing. I can't even explain
Mm.
it to you. It's like it just all fits in. It's like it. Okay, let me put it this way. All right, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. All the pieces are fitting into place. You build a jigsaw puzzle and you go boom, 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 and all the jigsaw pieces are fitting into place with her and I. What we're doing, what we're creating together. Okay, we're not in a relationship or a union or anything like that. It's just two people come together on soul level with the same mission, same ideas, the same vision,
Right.
right? Working together, and supporting each other. I'm trying to think of oh god.
It's a let me think of it.
Yeah, no,
it
I'm
it's
just
a symbiotic
yeah, yeah, yeah,
synergetic
yeah, yeah.
symbiotic
Thank
comes
you.
to mind.
Symbiotic.
Synergetic,
Yes.
but
Yeah, yeah,
also natural.
yeah.
That's
It
what I mean.
is.
That's what
They
I mean.
just know.
Like it's natural. Like
Yeah.
Morgan and I have been through a lot, and there's a feeling there's and it's never not been there. And I could even say this about my own life. I could say my own life up until 11/11/11. Something happened, and there's this innate knowing or feeling or understanding or awareness that's never left. No matter how much we shut it down, no matter how much people told us we were wrong and we got charged and we became polarized, and thought it was everybody else's fault and all that, the whole journey is like we're on this place right now that
Yeah.
even if you want to go out of your way to create chaos, because it isn't chaos. We
Yeah.
create from the chaos. We create from the
We do
unknown.
create from
There's
the character.
nothing
Yes.
wrong with the unknown, and we have been
No,
so conditioned to buy into the argument that we need to be protected. Hey, fuck you, man. Government, religion, yeah, bullshit. And
oh
to
yeah.
be in a space where the individual's personal choices that the whole world might know or no one might know have the same impact. One soul can alter this world, certainly your own, you know?
Just like that, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. Just like
Fucking
that.
A,
One
man.
soul. Absolutely. And when
Fucking
you
A.
get that one soul that builds into five souls and 10 and 100 and 1,000 and a million, you got fucking magic.
But see, the math on this side, it's not like the other side.
No, it's
Let me
not.
give you let me give you an example.
Go on.
And this has nothing to do with politics. Nothing. But
No.
if you look at COVID, if you look at the the last U.S. Presidential election.
Mm.
2019 came to a close.
Yeah.
2020 hit. That was in the day when you had likes and dislikes on YouTube
Yeah, that's right.
that showed you how
I remember.
many. But as soon as that election or whatever the fuck that was presented in COVID, and they could no longer, they being our playmates, the bad actors we might call them,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
could no longer allow people to see. Because I remember before they did it, the election's over, Biden comes out, he does a little video. There'd be like 19,000 dislikes and 500 likes. I'm thinking, how the fuck did this guy get elected? Right? But my point is, from an energetic standpoint, is that that's how far the control and the joke basically had to go. And
Yeah.
now we're able to go forth and do things without any thought given to the effectiveness financially, publicly, popularity, the whole 9 yards. Just go be you. And if no one sees it or the whole world sees it because you're on Joe Rogan, it doesn't matter. There is no difference. That's why I
No.
have so
No.
much respect for these women who for 20 years, 30 years, there's so many of them. I can If you look at Soulgy, it's 85, 80, 85% of that. And I know the other communities are like that. You never see them in front of a camera. They've been doing the work. They've been doing the grid work. They've been in their rooms by themselves, estranged from their family, putting up prayers. That's the real power. And all it has to do is nothing but be recognized by you and me. And when the masculine comes in and says, "Hey, that's what I've been serving. That's the truth." That's what I mean. The math is totally different. It ain't like
It
one
is.
plus one equals two. It's like one
Yeah.
plus one equals 369. Boom.
Oh,
You're in
you
the
just spoke
zillions.
to me when you said that, Tigers. I just said that. I said that to somebody the other day. I said one plus one equals two equals three, because that's the whole combination of it all. And um, and when you said it's not about the numbers, it's not about the likes, it's not about the dislikes anymore. It's not about that. It's about you getting up there doing it. It's about you being authentic. It's about you just being you and not giving a fucking crap
Yeah.
what anyone says or thinks about you. And this is, and I know I've followed it over the years with myself. Is like I piss people off. They get pissed off with me at times. There are people who get really fucking triggered by me and pissed off. And it's like, well,
That's what light
have
workers do, man.
I
You
love
can't be
you.
liked if you're a light worker.
Hey,
We didn't call them like workers. They're light workers.
no,
If they were like
no.
workers, everybody would like them. You just said something though. Hang on a second. I forgot. Third time. Third time's a charm. Well, I know what it was. Um, yeah. So much has changed since 11/11/11.
Yeah,
We knew, and we had to contend with, and we had to evolve and grow and be honest with ourselves in order
yes,
to get to a space where we do things from a place that's more inclined with ourselves and aligned with
yeah,
ourselves than what other people think. Okay.
it's right.
I believe we've entered a space where, because of our you said silence earlier, but to me it's bigger
Yeah,
than that. It's like being in a space where you're aware of yourself, as best you can be at all times, and you don't have the chatter going
the
and all that.
void type.
And
You said the
you,
void,
right,
right? The
right,
void.
right, and you act on pure instinct and spontaneity,
Yeah,
right? And so, to me, it's gone from, because I never had this problem, by the way, my whole life. I don't care what people think, but I didn't know that I cared what I thought. And the I thought that I thought was important wasn't the part of me that's here anymore. So there's no part of me that's judging or condemning or that I even think about now. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying this is kind of where I see it going.
It's
It's not
okay.
even it's not even about other people now. It's about I do something, I can live with it. Period. It's not with me anymore. And think about it, all the things that we did in our lives or that were done to us, supposedly, that we didn't let go of. So now I can say, you know what? It's all me. Everything I experience is me. And I
Absolutely.
find myself moving past my minor digressions, should they be such, or whatever we might want to call things.
Yeah.
Um, whether it be me going outside and smoking a cigarette that I shouldn't smoke, or eating some things I like to eat, which are not healthy, or whatever. It's like I don't know,
I do
my.
that too, Todd. I just don't. I don't smoke anymore, but I do that too.
That's what I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
but my frequency. How do you say this? My frequency of uh, non self judgment and therefore non self sabotage is reducing dramatically. And that's enough for me because I know everything else will align with that, will be attracted to me. My relationship with my wife, my
Yes.
passion, my business, whatever. My mother's relationship, my father's relationship. I know that it will meet me where I'm at. Okay. And that's something to me that's really coming online these last, like, it's blown me away. Like, I would say like 2 weeks, and it feels
I
very masculine. Yeah.
I'm so grateful you brought this up, Todd. This subject of what you're talking about because this is where so many people they fall down. It's not about the judging of others so much. It's the judgment of themselves. It's like holy crap, I shouldn't be fucking doing that, or I shouldn't be doing this. It's like who fucking cares? If you want to, just do it. If it's not hurting anyone else, and you feel good within yourself, then what the fuck? Seriously, who cares? Right? As long as you're looking after yourself as best as you can, no one said that you have to be perfect. No one said you have to do it their fucking way. Because there is no right or wrong. You do your way. You get
it's
authentic. And this is why people
yeah.
don't like me because as an Aussie, all right, here in Australia, I don't pull punches anymore. Right? I speak it how it is. And I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, if I go and have a packet of fucking potato chips, right, no, aren't good for me, I'm not going to care. It's like, nope, that's okay. That's my fucking treat for the week. I couldn't give a shit. You want to judge me? Go right ahead, folks. But you know what? I'm sitting here today and I'm freaking as healthy as I've ever been.
But see,
So
exactly. I mean, like,
you know,
okay, I will tell you this. All right, I like to cook, and I've
yeah,
gotten back into cooking while my mom's here, and I try to eat healthy. So I make a lot of greens and beans, and I juice every day, and so on.
yeah,
But when I cook beans and greens, I like to use ham hocks. All
okay,
right. Now a lot of people will be like, "Man, eating meat's one thing, but like eating that's something else." But what I do in anything I cook that I have any type of judgment going on around me,
yeah,
I sit with it for a few minutes or moment or whatever the case is, and I say, man, and I integrate with it and I merge with it and I live that life
yeah,
and I've been there and I'm that and it's me. And so I think that that's an example with cooking, but I mean you could do it with anything. Is to because one of the really big things I've heard it for years in my own experience, but there's been some things that have come on louder since 11/11/11, and one of them is work with what you have.
yeah,
So
always,
if I go downstairs and I'm going to cook for tomorrow, and I just happen to went to the grocery store and I bought some ham hocks, and I got this and I got that, and I buy organic veggies and all that, and I try to use everything clean. I use clean water, filtered water, even when I soak beans or whatever. But it's still part of my living experience. It's not
yeah,
some
right.
sideline. I don't need to eat this so my body will continue. That's not it. This is a sensory experience of alchemy and magic and individuality slash oneness,
Yeah.
all the same thing, even though we don't understand it, to actually appeal to whatever the energies that we're working with, which could include things that look AI or things that look GMO'd or whatever the case is. We have the power because every single thing that we're looking at, contemplating, being presented with is the same damn thing. And the only thing that holds us back from utilizing the potential of the mutual creative effort that we can have
Yeah. Yeah.
is my own thoughts of separation and division and difference.
It's the whole thing, Todd. And I just want to add into that too. We have been so programmed with the whole thing around food, and eating and all the other stuff too. I think maybe at times we've made it too complicated.
Yeah,
Okay, um, we've overcomplicated things when it comes to the spiritual beliefs and all that sort of stuff. And it's like I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do that. I mean, I drink filtered water myself. Okay, bro, I got a jug at home. I fill it up and buy filters every freaking couple of months. And I eat as clean as I can. But I also know, and this is just me, this is just my perspective, okay, how I see it, that no matter what I eat, I know that my body is going to transmute anything that is
right,
not required,
right,
and
right
my
on,
body will push it out.
right on,
Okay,
right on.
so that's where I sit with it for myself personally, because I don't hold that fear around. Oh my god, I have to wash this, I have to do. No offense to you, don't get me wrong. You
No,
do
no,
it
I
your
get
way.
what you're saying. I do
Right?
the same thing. I do the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
thing. Everything that goes through my body, every feeling that I have, whether I've
yeah,
ingested something or inhaled something, whatever the case is, I experience it. I guess is the only way I could say it. Like I
yeah.
don't just go, oh, I'm going to eat a hot dog and I'll just,
No,
no, it's just something else. There's something about balance. I guess at the end of the day, for me, everything outside of me is me. And
yeah,
so if
exactly.
I'm, go to a Sology Fest in 2022 and get pulled over by the cops and spend 7 nights in an Arkansas jail, everything in that experience was expansive
Yeah, it was
because I was able to, because we can all relate to this, I think, because we've been through
absolutely.
the cycles, the spirals, right, of the cycle,
Yeah,
uh, because I could see it for what it was. And it was a blessing. So it's the same thing I've gotten this loud the last couple of months, which is there is no more, really, we say this, but how do you feel it? Do you experience it without judgment? This is, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but past, future, present, right? Like
yeah, totally.
literally I've been told just like a bee going from a flower to a flower, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Moment to moment. I come to this moment and I'm buzzing around an energetic vortex of creation with my brother, right?
Yeah,
And then I do this and then I go to the next one and I go to the next and you're still with me and so on and so on and so on. Like our experience as human beings to me, and I'm not talking about natural disasters and wars and nukes and this and that. I'm not talking about ETs landing. I'm talking about the personal experience of a human being on this planet who has an open mind is changing so rapidly. We could literally walk through a door tomorrow into a portal of paradise.
oh, absolutely, we could, and that's quite possible from that perspective. To when you talk about that, okay, is how powerful we are, and that is the moment to moment to moment to moment to moment of everything that you were saying, regardless. Because and I think this is what people need to understand, and I want people to just hear me on this from that perspective, right? And I spoke about this just the other day with Jeremy Domall in America as well.
Hmm.
on a live, and I said, look, the past, the present, and the future rolled into one.
Right.
That's just the way it works, from my perspective. Okay, some people may not agree with me, and that's okay too. I'm not here to debate freaking who's right or wrong because there is no fucking right or wrong, and there's just people's perceptions. So each moment is there for us to experience. So each single moment, like you said, right, and this moment right now, we're talking about this. So this it's a fucking beautiful moment, okay. But it doesn't mean that if the past comes knocking on your door in the present moment, that you also ignore that. You acknowledge that as well, because the present and the past and the future all rolled into one. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It doesn't mean you're being taken away from the present moment because that past is still there in that present moment anyway. And I think people get confused with that concept. And maybe I've gone off a little bit sidetracked
No,
from what
no.
you were saying
I think you're making a really good point. I think that
because I want
again.
people to understand that.
No,
Todd.
I get what you're saying, and I feel that one of the things that's happening is the differentiation of the past and the future and the present is disappearing. So think about the words, because in the beginning there was the word, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's clues everywhere, but
absolutely.
what's being presented? What's being presented?
Presented. Yeah.
What's being presented, right? So what's being
Yeah.
presented to you as we move forward, and the burden of linear time or time itself is gone, and this is not bullshit.
No, it's
Then
not.
that's kind of a better way, or maybe a clearer way to really see what's happening and what we're actually walking into, because we're not going back to the other way. We're not going
Oh
back
no,
to
no, no, no,
schedules and
no,
deadlines and all
no.
that shit. So we're actually
Yeah,
in a space
that's
where
going very
you go
fast.
from one moment, one flower to
Yeah.
another. You're presented with this, you're presented with
Yes.
that. And as we get presented with things, to your point, using the old vernacular, if
Yeah.
something comes up from the past, or someone comes up, or something comes up that makes you uncomfortable, that no longer designates it to the past, it does designate it to what we've known, okay?
Yes.
And yeah, we don't. We've moved into a greater space of less judgment of self and therefore others, because everything we find in self, we obviously, it obviously goes outside of us, and
Yeah.
we can actually start to move quicker, which is, I think, what's happening too. Process quicker because we don't have all the baggage and residual from the conditioning.
No, we don't.
it's just we
I
can
agree with that.
we can look at ourselves and go, dude, I know you're eternal soul. I can
Absolutely.
look at you as a soul, not just as a human being. And it's really weird because I can look at you as a human being, and I can say this to anybody on the face of the earth. I can look at you as a human being and have enough sensitivities now to be able to feel your journey, and I take my hat off. Like, wow. But I see you as a soul. I see
Thank
you
you.
as a soul.
I honor that.
Taking nothing away from a human being, I see you as a
No.
soul.
Yeah.
But the human
And that's
being experience is the fucking gold. And it ain't back there, it's here. It's here. It's taking all the stuff that we've known, you could say the living library, putting it here and
yeah.
going, oh, let's look at this from a different perspective.
Totally.
Because the goal here isn't to heal, survive, do better than others, or blah blah blah. The goal here is to create new without any inhibition whatsoever, any thought of what others think, and certainly not what I might think of myself once I've taken that thought, word, or action. No more second guessing.
No. No. And that's the thing. And this is everything you said is spot on with that, right? When you said that. And I think what we've got to remember that if we've got to remember that what you're saying, Todd,
Hmm.
because we're creating as we go,
Right on.
and we have that trust and that faith that It doesn't matter how it unfolds.
Yeah.
It's for that experience for all of us,
Yeah.
for us as a whole. And so, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. I agree with what you're saying, Todd, and
No,
I
I feel you,
understand.
man. I feel you. It reminds
All
me
right.
of I think the scariest dimensional experience I've ever had. It was in a lucid dream, and I was, you travel around in the dreams and all that, and all of a
Oh,
sudden,
yeah.
I heard this weird noise. Like it was a weird noise. I can't even try to do it, and I found myself in the void, and there was no sound, there was no light, and that went from that to me being in the void was an ocean. And there wasn't
Wow.
any land for like thousands of miles. And I just started dog paddling. And this whole thing went on with like, well, just let go and you can drown. Like, I ain't drowning. Fuck that. I'm a swimming. You know what I mean? I saw this this little video on YouTube, I think, a while back, and there was this experiment. And the experiment was with lab rats in like
Yeah.
a pool of water, okay, like a really deep pool. And
Yep.
so what they would do is they put, I don't know, 100 lab rats in or whatever into the water
Yeah.
until they couldn't swim anymore. And right before they were going to go under, they'd pull them out. They'd
Okay.
revive them. They'd revive them, and so on. I think they lasted around, I want to say 15, 16 minutes was like the
Okay.
average, right? Before they
Yeah.
gave up. Do you know how long they lasted when they put them in a second time?
No.
60 hours.
What?
And the reason was, think about the power of I'm big on the definition of the transitive verb um, faith, which
Yeah.
says to trust and believe, right?
Yes. Yes.
So because they were saved the first time, they believed they would be saved again. 15 minutes turns into 60 hours.
Holy crap.
So if you look at the energy of that and the fact that we are connected to everything, and
Here we are.
people can say whatever they want about rats, but I mean, they are very prominent energy on this earth for eons.
They are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, anyway, that was just kind of
It
interesting.
is all energy, time, and this. I want to go into that even further. When you talk about we are connected to everything, we fucking are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I've had so many experiences with animals in the past 4 years alone.
Yeah.
Like I've had little birds crawl on me and hop on
Yeah.
me, and I've had lizards and all sorts of beautiful stuff happening with all animals. Well, not all, but majority of them. And it's been freaking incredible because when you have that energetic signature of connecting to everything that you know that you are, and you shift that energy focus, that's when the animals can feel that too, and you can come, and they will come to you.
Yeah.
They will embrace you. They won't have that fear.
Yeah.
So we are connected to everything, and I want to state that clearly to everyone out there, even if
Absolutely.
you don't are. I mean, dogs
Absolutely.
love me. I have a dog coming out to me all the freaking time. But I love dogs anyway. But
Any,
but yeah,
well, yeah, ultimately, I mean, we can speak to anything. Some things feel more resonant, they're more kindred, they're
yeah,
more familiar. I know, like being with Morgan, she's very galactic and she can't relate
yes,
to me walking through the bayou and talking to the wind and the trees and such, but um, it's all there. And no matter what, I think, if I had to point to one thing that, that, how do you do that? But like that's been like the basis of it all for me, like in my memories of multidimensionality, would be being in the void when there's no sound, there's no nothing, and you're just there. How do you get out? How do you birth? You start moving. Faith is a transitive verb. Faith is motion. Does not have to talk. Faith does. It's like if I don't know. It's like that little train that could that went over the mountain when we were like little kids. But
That's
brother,
I think
yeah,
that's perfect when you say that. Todd, when you talk about out of the void, you just do. It just
yeah, you
happens.
just you move because if you don't move, anything that gets stagnant dies. We know that, and
That's
maybe we
right.
don't. Maybe we. I don't know. To me, the movement thing is huge, but I
It
am
is
really.
because
Go ahead.
you've got to. I think one of the things the biggest thing one of the things I have learned with all of this, and when it finds that when I'm talking about the balance about this and being in the void, Todd, is that when you're in that void, yes, but you've also to get out of it, you've got to step forward, and you've got to make steps to where you want to go. And I feel that's the most important key to this too. Is you want to go somewhere, then you got to step forward and make that happen, and
Well,
the universe will
decide what you
respond.
want, like you said.
Yes,
First and
exactly, and then
foremost, I thought that was
yeah,
the best. That was probably to me. That was probably the best thing that was said in this whole 2 hours was, "What do you want?"
yeah, and that's exactly right. And a lot of people don't know what they want, and that's okay, because you know what? They'll find out eventually what they want as they walk through the journey. Now, I want to share this with you too, Todd. Just about talking, and this is the really weird thing. I just want to share. This is really weird how this happened too. It's like I had, and I mean everything's changed now because of what's unfolded this year. But last year I had a guidance from my higher self that I was going to leave the house I'm living in right now, and I was going to go traveling in April of this year. And I thought, yeah, okay, that's cool. I can do that. How am I going to do that? No worries. Got all the stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, yeah, I'll just get rid of it. And I thought, yeah, I'll just grab a 6x4 trailer. She'll be right. Throw me camping gear in there. She's all
Six
apples,
by
you know.
four.
6x4 trailer, 6 foot, you know. But then a friend of mine here in New South Wales offered me her camper trailer for sale.
mm, mm.
And I thought, huh, why would I want a freaking normal trailer and have a camper trailer? And I said, yeah, I'll buy that off you, no worries. Second hand. I haven't got it yet, but when I do, and I won't be travelling as much now due to I got my daughter to look after now, being the
Mm.
sole parent of her, but that's okay. The fact is that's something else that came into my reality is like I was guided, yeah, okay, cool. And instead of getting just a trailer, I was presented a camper trailer and said, you want a trailer? We'll give you a camper trailer. And it's okay, cool, I'll take that. And I walked towards that. So
Mm.
that's another example of how you can create stuff.
Right
So
on.
I just want to
Right on.
share that with you.
Yeah,
What do you
absolutely,
want?
man. Yeah,
What
what
do
do
you
you
want?
want? I mean, if we don't know what we want, and we also have come out of something where, how do you say this? We told ourselves we knew what we wanted, but certain things had to happen in order for that to occur. Now,
Yeah,
what I'm
totally.
saying is now we're in this place which is heart based,
Yeah,
and that is from your heart, you put it out there. So even if you put it out there, and most likely it won't go, it won't occur the way you thought, it won't be what you thought, it'll be greater. And
oh, yeah.
but it still is going to be regulated or predicated by, or at least the potential of it being a reality is going to be from that genuine. And I know it sounds like woo woo, and it sounds like new age bullshit, but it's not. And
It's
that's
not.
what I was saying earlier. Is there are certain cliches. There is an over stimulation due to an over complication of everything being hashed and rehashed and spoken about and dialogues over and over and over and over until we can actually sit in a place now where the simplicity of the infinite intelligence applies. And we don't.
Absolutely.
That's what I see real big right now. Is I see energies presenting themselves in the form of human beings that say not only do they speak a different linguistic, like a different multiplistic
Yeah,
language, but they're saying less but more. Like the energy is so loud. That's why I say, you ask me in an hour, what do we talk about? I won't know. The only thing I will remember is how I feel now and how that's grown from the moment that, Like the moment that we set this up, I'm like, hey, you want to do a show? Like, when? I'm like, now. And just that whole wave, like there's nothing obstructed there. It was all pure, innocent,
That's
well
right.
intended, right? And coming from the same place. And that's what I remember. That's what I'm saying. My body is telling me the way, but it doesn't speak English.
And I want to agree with that too, Todd, because that the whole. I mean, I wouldn't be able to remember everything that you and I have spoken about today, but the feeling that I've felt through the whole experience has been, it's just divine.
Yeah, it has been.
That's
We'll
that's
have to
all I
do it
can say.
again, man, later in the year. Have you seen
Pardon?
Morgan? Have you seen Morgan down there? I know she was getting dental work in the town you live